In 2015, Morris won the Longines Hong Kong Mile. Since then, it's been a beauty race. Beauty Generation has won the last two editions. Prior to that, it was beauty only. Beauty Generation, can he make it three and follow in the footsteps of the fabulous good Barbar? Let's hope so. Indy Champ is going to provide some fabulous opposition. The son of Stay Gold has won the Mile Championship, the Yasuda Kinen. He's a brilliant youngster on the way through. 2 starts in Group 1s for 2 wins. Persian Knight's been to Hong Kong before. Waikuku continues to lift the bar. Ryan Moore will take the ride on Zaki for Sir Michael Stout. Karying Star, Simply Brilliant, Citron Spirit, and then the youngsters, Admire Mars, the colt by Daiwa Major, and Normcore, the filly, who comes with sensational form, winning the Victoria Mile and the Fuji Stakes first up. Citron Spirit is the only horse in this race that's been back and forth to Chun Fa. So the 2019 edition of the Longines Hong Kong Mile, Beauty Generation, I think it's drawn quite favourably. Let's have a look at the potential way the race may unfold. Tom, you can see Beauty Generation there amongst the middle. And I think initially he probably sits outside of Karying Star, but then we'll work over and find the front. I think that'll be the plan from Zach.
Yeah, you'll have Karying Star. He always jumps nicely. He's drawn down on the inside this time of Beauty Generation, so he'll be in there somewhere. Beauty Generation at the start will be up close to him. You'll have Waikuku just behind them in the early stages, but Beauty Generation, he'll sit there and then he'll eventually make his way down to the rail. But as we've seen from him, he hasn't quite been able to grind them away down the side like he has in previous runs. You can see Indy Champ, he's a horse that's going to get some nice cover in the race, and when he gets the cover, he can really finish off quite nicely over the final stages.
Yeah, we look at it and sort of presume that from the 10, Waikuku will roll forward, be a little bit handier, maybe give some cover there to Indy Champ. Let's go to the track work now, Paul, and how's the big boy looking?
Yeah, good. Now, this is a little while ago, Beauty Generation. We're going to show another gallop in one of the interviews, and you can see in this particular piece he's got his mouth open. He's going okay, but when you see the next piece, you'll see the difference. He's going really well at the moment, so I think he's really improved. Indy Champ, he's come and he's had no problems here in Hong Kong, and I thought it was a really nice piece here. Really stretched out well on this particular gallop with Damien Elaine aboard, and he's a serious challenger to Beauty Generation. And Normcore, here is the other Japanese. Now, she's sort of the lightly raced, and the younger one, we'll see a race from her. She's got a good turn of foot, and she showed it really nicely in this gallop down the straight.
Yeah, some great opposition for Beauty Generation. Not only Beauty Generation, there, of course, Hong Kong is well represented in the mile. But firstly, let's hear from the trainer, John Moore.
John, good to see you here. The big question, I guess, heading into Sunday, can the champ Beauty Generation bounce back?
Well, we've done everything we could after his last run with respect to tweaking a few issues that we thought might get him back on song again. Of course, he was carrying the grandstand after the last two runs. This time we're on set weights. He was beaten 3/4 of a length, still giving away weight the other day, so we believe that he could make up that ground and be very competitive on the day.
When you look at his last run in the Jockey Club Mile, is there a reason why he wasn't kicking as well at the top of the straight like we know he can when he's at his absolute best?
Well, if we're going to use excuses, you're going to go back to the first run where he was about 20 odd over, and being an older fellow, it took a lot out of him. So that probably could be one of the reasons you could use with respect to not kicking like he does usually at the 400. But coming back to levels, judging from his work yesterday morning, the feedback from Ramon, the riding boy, I still think he's a force to reckon with.
Are you happy with how things have panned out of the barrier draw for him?
Perfect. Karying Star inside us, that's a big plus, because I just don't want to get into a situation where we're in a situation where we get back into the box seat and something comes up on the outside and he's just not comfortable in that situation. So the draw is absolutely perfect. Unless there's some unforeseen runner that decides to take on like Karying Star or something like that, and I'm sure Zach Purton will take evasive tactics and end up back on the outside again. So don't see any problems there.
Yeah, well, as John said there, I think Zach will probably just sit outside of Karying Star initially and then just put the pressure in a little bit more as they gallop towards the 1200 and obviously the first bend coming up. Let's go back and have a look at that Jockey Club Mile and focus a little bit this time on the opposition. We can see Beauty Generation there, but Waikuku was a fabulous horse in his first campaign. You can see Kaying Star in there as well. Citron Spirit, Simply Brilliant stuck on reasonably well too when they cornered for the judge. But I think looking at Waikuku and the turn of acceleration he showed here, he's a star himself on the rise.
Yeah, and he's definitely one of the major players as well. Now, Beauty Generation, when he was winning his races, it was the 800 to the 400. He was really that high cruising speed. He was just grinding them into the ground. He didn't really show that in those last couple of starts. So I'm sure they're going to be trying to do that once again. And now that the barrier draws have done the way as John Moore said, he looks ideally placed.
I know he's back here with set weights and whatnot, but he had that Waikuku just had that perfect run up the inside. When he rolled off the fence, he had that nice run.
Let's have a look at the Group 1 Mile Championship from Kyoto. Morris, when he came to Hong Kong, had outstanding form. He had a very similar lead-in to this horse that we're going to focus on now, Indy Champ. You can see him there just sitting in behind the speed. Persian Knight, who's been to Hong Kong, actually trailed into the race quite nicely when they sprinted for the judge.
This was a really big win from this horse. He's just got such a devastating turn of foot. Once he got out into the clear there, you can see he carries his head a little bit funny. He did that in the track work on Wednesday morning as well, but once he levelled up here at the 200, he just went to whoosh and put the race beyond doubt. That's what I like about him. He's got that devastating turn of foot, and with what Beauty Generation has done recently, not being able to put them to the sword, I think this horse can with that turn of foot he showed there.
Yeah.
He's going to run first or second for me. This Indy Champ is a serious racehorse, I think. And I didn't mind the run of Persian Knight. He comes up at big prices. He's won for multiple.
Such a good-looking horse too.
He is a good looker, no doubt about that. Let's go to Zaki now and go back to June. Focus on him at Epsom. He was sitting back behind when they cornered for the run to the judge, and he powered over them in the final stages, but the opposition come Sunday are much tougher than what were in this race.
It was a decent race from him on this occasion to win this Group 3 contest there at Epsom with Ryan Moore in the saddle. Ryan teams up with Sir Michael Stout here. He won 2 starts ago and dug really deep to win over Bangkok, and then he was well and truly tailed up by Ben Battle, who made a mess of them last time out. He stayed on okay, but the winner was too good. He's worked well since he's been here, but I think on that last effort he'd need to improve
it's a bit of a quirky racecourse, Epsom, as well. A lot of horses aren't suited by it. I mean, obviously he was, and he hit the line nicely. So he's going to have to be at his very, very best to feature.
It's his toughest test, no doubt, but he is a horse still on the rise, and the way Ryan Moore rode on Wednesday night, it'd be hard to overlook completely, but the opposition a lot tougher. Now we go down to the Japanese runners. We'll focus mainly on Normcore. Obviously, Admire Mars is an interesting runner too, but Normcore, this 4-year-old steel grey filly, she's got an outstanding turn of acceleration. She won the Group 1 Victoria Mile. She's won first up in the Fuji Stakes prior to heading to Hong Kong. You can see her just positioned in here in the Victoria Mile. She sprints sharply. This has been a good form race for horses coming from Japan into this international program in Hong Kong in the past, and the draw's a bit awkward. She'll probably give away a start, but she can rattle late.
Yeah, you can see that she was held up, then she got into the clear and hit the line really nicely. I mean, she has got form over longer as well, up to 2,000 metres, this horse. So the 1,600, fast run 1,600 metres isn't going to be a problem for her. It's just how much of a start she gives away.
Yeah, that's the big key.
Behind Lise Gracheur as well, and you look at that, and she's been working strongly along the outside rail here.
Yeah, she has caught the eye, no doubt about that. And as you say, Tom, she's beaten less than 4 behind Lise Gracheur 12 months ago, so she's probably obviously come on a little bit since then. But can Beauty Generation make it 3 on the trot, Paul?
I think he can. I've got him on top, but if he's not at his best, then Indy Champ can beat him. So that's the Quinella. It's clear Quinella for me. 1 and 2. Waikuku in for 3rd, and then Persian Knight to add the value. 1, 2, 4, 3, but I really like that 1, 2 Quinella.
Yeah, the crowd would go wild if Beauty Generation was going to win this race, but I'm going to go with the Japanese hope here. Indy Champ number 2, he's got such a devastating turn of foot. 1 Beauty Generation, 4 Waikuku, and throwing in Normcore number 10, 2, 1, 4 and 10.
Yep, 1 to beat 2 and 4 for me. I'll be cheering for Beauty Generation to make it 3 on the trot.